Just like to give a shout out to White Claw. Real men drink White Claw. Seriously, this is doing nothing. I could be drinking Sprite and probably get more wasted. Why are you still here then, Sirius? Okay. So moving over into space news, James Webb has its sun shield fully deployed. All the layers on the sun shield are full and ready to go. So I retweeted Bill Harwood because I like his reporting. So at 11:59 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 days and 4 hours outbound from Earth, James Webb finished pulling the fifth and final layer on its 70 by 54 sunshade taut, successfully completing one of the most challenging tasks in its initial activation. So, yeah, the next thing to do with James Webb is this here. So, see this tinfoil down here? That's the part that they figured out. Not figured out. That's the part that they got done. So, it's going to deploying the solar panel, which is what we saw on stream. We saw them deploy the solar panel on stream, which was cool. We didn't see that. So they've been deploying the sun shields here. They have to deploy them, and then they have to extend them, and then they have to tension them. Tensioning the sun shields is very, very important. There's the DTA right there. The momentum flap for solar windage. This is the part that they just finished right here. They got one side mid boom and then the other side mid boom. You saw how exactly they deployed the solar panel? No, I didn't see it. Aerodynamics in space. Solar ionic dynamics, actually, Mab. But I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, pretty much. That's the part right there. This part. The next thing is the secondary mirror support structure right here. And then they fold out the antenna. Or fold out the additional mirrors. Or no, there's an aft radiator in there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's so legit, dude. Wait, what's the momentum flap for solar windage? Some sort of control deployment? It is quite literally a body flap for solar winds. It's a solar sail attached to the back of it to help keep it oriented correctly. Yep. It's exactly what it is, S. It is a wing. So when Mab says space aerodynamics, he's not kidding. Yep. So we are currently right here. This is where we're at. The sun shields got deployed. And then the next one is the secondary mirror support structure. And then they have to deploy the aft radiator, and then the mirror deployment, and then the satellite is in peeping configuration. That doesn't mean that the satellite is ready to go, though. They have to cool everything down. The mirror is designed to operate in really cold temperatures on purpose. Turns out you get a better image when it's cold. Yeah, go figure. Anybody where it snows, you notice how right after it snows, when you go outside, everything is nice and crisp? Same kind of idea. It's like everything is very defined and very crisp. It's because when it's cold, you get less atmospheric haze. Now, don't get me wrong. There's no atmospheric haze where the satellite is, but on a cosmic scale, same idea. Especially if you take images in deep infrared. Exactly. When you're out at Earth Sun L2, the only haze that you're going to get is from the sun. Basically, which is why it has this big sun shield. That's really, really important. Exactly, yes. Anybody that's ever operated a telescope knows that you get a lot of atmospheric haze when it's hot. That's right. So we have this. They have the sun shields. Sun slabs. The sun shields are deployed and tensioned. This, see right there, them moving all of them up. That's the tensioning process. We're right here. That's a big one. That is a big one, getting the sun shield deployed. But we're not out of the woods yet. Close though. The next one would be the next big one. I don't think that one is. I think that one will go just fine. The next big one is this. And not the aft deployable radiator. I don't think that's going to be... That's going to be a thing. You really have to make sure that these mirrors are ground correctly. I mean, not ground correctly. They probably are, but they have to seat correctly. That's really, really important. I never had any doubts on the satellite, Hellfish. Really. I never had any doubts. I was scared about the launch vehicle, and that was not unwarranted. I don't think, but oh man, that's so cool. What's the imaging schedule? Well, it's going to take about a month to cool the thing down, and then after that, should get some images in a couple of months. I'm very interested to see the first picture. That would be really cool. Not would be, it will be really cool. I mean, what are the first few targets? I'm not entirely sure. You have the stuff I linked up. This isn't necessarily space news, but still cool. Supercharging in Hawaii. NASA and Rocket Lab clear way for Electron launch from Virginia in 2022. Excellent. Excellent. The deep field? Yeah. Stay on target. Loosen up. Stay on target. Yeah, it's going to take a second to get everything all figured out, but and bring everything down to temperature. That's going to be a big deal. I'm not sure, Colma. Deep field, I guess. Alpha Centauri is first, I think. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm not going to guess. I'm sure people can Google it and figure it out. Anyway, speaking of that, let's look at the rocket launches here. That might be a good time to go and figure this out, because guess what? We have another rocket launch very soon. Yeah. We got a Starlink, 4:49 p.m. right during space news. Thank you, Elon, very much. On the 6th, Starlink 34-45 mission out of 39A. And another Starlink launch. And then Transporter 3, USSF 8, which is stacked. That mission's stacked, if I'm remembering correctly. A couple of Electron launches there. More Falcon 9s. There's a lot of stuff scheduled for January 2022. So, yeah, we're going to kick this year off right. Oh, Erebors, thank you. Relevant tweet thread. For those asking what will be the first thing James Webb looks at, there are a lot of answers to that question. Remember, it'll take months for those 18 mirror segments to cool down and be lined up to get one crisp picture instead of 18 fuzzy ones. And it will take several months. It will take several months for the scientific instruments to be calibrated. So the first thing James Webb will look at will be the calibration targets, and the first data will look not great before it looks amazing. Cool. Yeah, it's going to take a little while. Okay. All right, so let's look around. We have 1, 2, 3 NASA spaceflight videos to check out, guys, for Starship if we want to take a look at that. Anything else in particular that people want to run down to? We got plenty of missions. 6, we got another Falcon 9 launch, which is pretty sweet. Hey, Jackery. Firefly sale. I'm not sure I want to talk about that, so I am not too 100% familiar with what's going on there, so I'm going to shut up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna zip, boop. So let's go with what we know. You know what? We'll just jump into the Starship stuff. Let's take a look. Can I post a link from the NASA stream today? If you want to. Yeah, we just need perms from the mods. No, username, I haven't. We're gonna get in when we get into Starship news. We'll cover Starship news. The chopsticks moved. Oh yeah. All right, we'll see. There was an alarm during the stream. Are these normal? Let me see. Let's listen real quick.
Doing a lot of imaging for us. The one interesting thing about that camera is they are telescope scientists.
I just want to let you know that those motor alarms that were.
Okay. Yep. So as you heard,
it's nothing.
Nancy. As you heard Nancy say there, we typically get some alarms.
Yeah, that's nothing, mess.
Discovery, go at throttle.
It's nothing, dude. There's alarms for the alarms, basically. So even if there's an inkling of an inkling of an inkling that something might be going wrong, it'll tell them. Like, okay, in a modern car, right? If you have a modern car, it'll tell you if the oil needs to be changed, right? It'll be like, hey, you need to change my oil before it becomes a problem, right? Same idea. If there's an alarm going off, it's just saying, hey, you should know about this, but it's not a big deal, but you should know about this. Straight up. Hey, signer at 23 months. Maybe more check gas cap instead of change oil soon. I think my analogy sufficiently got the point across. Yeah, here, let's get back into Starship. Mess, I don't think it's anything, dude. I would have heard about it if it was something big. Let me put it to you like that. But yeah, alarms go off all the time. But they call them alarms because... They call them alarms because you really have to take everything super seriously in space. It's designed to get your attention, right? So, like, it's designed to be like, hey, this might be going wrong over here, because you don't want to just ignore something, right? You don't want to just be like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Oh, they're called alarms because they're designed to get you to consider what's going on. Does that make sense? Like, if it's just like a little light that's going doot, 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 that's easy to ignore. It'd be like, oh yeah, okay, it's just the light, whatever. But if it's going roop, 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 alarm, right? Then you'd be like, okay, what's going on? Okay, I need to, all right, it's not a big deal. Okay, cool. Let's shut that off and get back to what we were doing. It does that on purpose because you have, in spaceflight, it's very important to consider all the data. You have to consider everything. Don't ignore things. Ignoring things in spaceflight is how you die. It's like, I often akin spaceflight operations to a Tetris game. It's like playing Tetris. You know, you place one block out of alignment, that's not that big of a deal. You can get around it. But if you're trying to place another block and that block hits the one that you didn't get right, then that's going to stack up and become a huge problem down the road, right? Spaceflight's like that. It works exactly like that. So it's important to address that problem immediately before it happens. Be preemptive. That's what the alarms are about. So it's really not a big deal. But here's the thing. The reason why NASA cut the feed, if you notice, they're like, okay, we just want to let you know that there's some alarm. The reason why they cut the feed like that is because if everybody hears alarms, they freak out. Straight up. Hey, Wolf, what's going on? See less when you have the time. Okay. Long time no see. Yeah, I've been busy with the doctors. Might have sclerosis. We'll find out on the 20th. How far along is Starship? I'll get you something here in a second. Let's take a look. They didn't cut the feed. It had bad audio. I watched the whole thing. Okay. Alright, so this footage is from a couple days ago. Once again, it's coming from our friends over at NASA Spaceflight here. Chopsticks move if you want to check it out with the Starship stuff. I do, but I will when we're done here. So Starship's going along okay, guys, but... Oh, there's the hood. Oh, look at the umbilical. Oh, that's so cool. See that thing open? Well, close. That's really neat. That's a quick disconnect shield. Mm-hmm. Do we know whether Booster 4 is getting fins at the bottom like in the renders, or it's still up in the air? It's still up in the air from what I understand, Blinga. I'm not sure why you would need fins when you have 15 degrees of gimbal and a computer compensating, you know? But it's... who knows? I don't see any attachment points for wings, do you? You'd at least at this point see a bracket somewhere. I straight up don't think that this thing is going to have any. Just because it looks cool? I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Do you have any clue when they will light this candle? It's going to be a little ways out. The FAA needs more time to go through all the comments from the programmatic environmental assessment. We're out until at least the end of February, which is fine. The pad isn't finished yet anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. Everybody freaked out. Everybody's getting all mad at the FAA, not fully realizing that the plumbing for the pad is nowhere near finished. None of the methane tanks are hooked up. Like, seriously, none of the methane tanks are hooked up. You don't need to... that's not any inside information, guys. You could look at RGV Aerial's pictures and see that the pipes are physically not there. And if your liquid fuel tanks aren't hooked up for your pad, if it's one thing that I know a little bit about GSE and stuff. I've kind of been there, albeit in a much more dumbed down version. If the pad isn't finished, the rocket doesn't launch. I know. Shocking revelation. But yeah, guys, I'm not even worried. The pad still has plenty. They still got a lot of time to finish the launch complex, man. You know, I often say that launch pads are as complicated as the vehicles that they launch. This one is a special example. This is way more complicated, man. The pad is way more complicated than a regular launch pad. The best pad is no pad. Got him. Yeah. So, had SpaceX kept up the pace, they could have been finished by now. Hellfish, it goes into a bigger thing that I want to tell you guys about that people don't understand. You scale to deadlines, not vice versa. You scale to deadlines. Now that the programmatic environmental assessment isn't going to be done until February, right? SpaceX will scale to that instead. They'll change the pace of work so they can allocate resources correctly. If there's something that needs your pressing attention right now, like, oh, I don't know, scaling up Raptor production, you can focus on that in the meantime and slow down pad production. The pad production doesn't need to go as fast nowadays. You notice how it doesn't seem like a lot has changed? There you go. You scale to deadlines every time. Doesn't matter if you're in the private sector. I mean, even though it's an internalized deadline, but yeah. Did you see why they have the horizontal methane tanks? Turns out the cryoshield methane tanks are not up to regulations, so they can't use them. That's why they got those big tanks. Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, I've heard whispers about that. I don't know, but I don't know that for sure. I know that the tanks aren't hooked up. I guess if you know, the tanks that they have there aren't really enough to fill anything up, right? That's not enough to fill up a Super Heavy, let alone a Starship, right? If they bring in more methane tanks in the future, then I think we know what went wrong, right? But who knows? Thank you for replacing Wario, Elon. Yep. Actually learned in a sort of Actually learning a sort of twist. Ariane 5's pad is actually pretty reusable per industry standards. One of the benefits of holding it by the booster is the only part that's heavily damaged after the SRB, heavily damaged are the SRB wagons. The rest of the structure is pretty well reinforced. How Ariane 5 does it is very, very strange comparatively to like a typical rocket, Alex. Holding the core stage off the rim like that, it's very weird. You know what though? That would be really easy to make a launch pad for an Ariane 5 in real life. Or not in real life, in Kerbal. That's actually a very interesting way to do it, to slide the SRB pads in on the sides with the SRB stacked on top of them. It's not a bad way to do it. Oh, there they go, bringing that sucker down there. Is the tank farm going to get a bunker or magazine-like hill structures to shield it from the blasts? Probably. I saw a Twitter thread from someone who used to work there. They need a brim or a big gap between the methane tanks. And the underground pipes are not correct as well. Interesting. What happened to KSP? I haven't seen you play it in a while. I'm on break from KSP. I've been just doing variety streaming for a little while to test the water, see how it is. Just needed a break from Kerbal. That's all. First time in about a decade, Bobber, so. Yeah, we'll get back to it. A couple, like, not that much longer. I haven't played it in about a month. I don't know, username. Hey Moto, what's going on? Yeah, the crane is amazing. That's a Liebherr 11,000 crane. SpaceX bought it themselves. Yeah. Everyone needs a break from KSP, even me. Max, yeah, I just chose to kind of opt out during the holidays because it was just the holiday stresses and everything, and I wanted to play other games, you know? Like, so Kerbal was stressing me out a little bit, coupled with a bunch of other things, so just took a break. No, it's not burnout. I could play Kerbal right now. Just wanted to play other games, though. Don't think of it like I'm burned out. Think of it like there's other stuff that I want to play more than KSP right now that are easier to play because the end of the year is always, the holidays are always stressful getting everything in line. But now that that's passed, we should jump back into KSP soon. Yep, just balancing out physics, Patem. Did you do the EDA pool? If not, can we do it on stream, please? Pool. Oh, poll. Yeah, I did it. I got most of the things right, dude, to be honest. Yeah. This dude just chilling there with this thing sitting behind him. It's fine. Yeah, I know about it, Kamir. I've seen it, but yeah. That warning's probably for everybody else. Crazy how the Raptors we are seeing aren't even in their final form. Yep. How does it attach and sit on the orbital launch platform? The engine seems to stick out wider than the widest part of the body. Well, the hold down points are up here. That's the hold down point right there. It's attached to the side of the engine. See that? And the hold down points actually move out like this inside of the pad. They actually slant inwards and the booster's kind of sitting on it. Or hanging from it. They form like a rim. It's almost like Soyuz's hold down points, but smaller and kind of down here at the bottom of the vehicle. Hi, by the way, Trojan. How are you? Happy New Year, buddy. That's crazy. No, the hold down points are up here. They're attached to the engine mount point. Might as well. Hold down points need to hold up a lot, and engines push up on it, so you need a structurally stable spot, right? So it does not stand on its engines, guys. No, it's held by these things. See these gray pieces right here? You'll just watch. You'll see it. It's actually, it's not the gray pieces. The gray pieces are part of the attachment, but it's next to it. Here, you'll see. Just take a look. Our main man closer to space just encountered a legend. Hey, very nice. Should be orange though. They kind of, it's not, you know what? It's not so much these pieces, even though they're a part of it, right? It's see the rim right there? That's where it holds. So like the hold down points, if this is the inner rim right here, they move like this. They're kind of triangular. They move out like this, and then there's a little rim right here, and that attaches to this. See that? It attaches right on this piece, and then there's a secondary thing that attaches to this, if I'm remembering correctly. How does the chopsticks fine-tune the alignment of the touchdown pins? Conveyor belts. There's a conveyor belt on each side of the chopstick so they can turn the booster, from what I understand. Yeah, right? Yeah, the taglines, Max. I know, it's ridiculous. But yeah, we're still about 2 months out from a launch, guys, which sucks, but hey, it is what it is, man. You know, this stuff's difficult, even for SpaceX. They'll get it done, though. It's just going to take some time. Yeah, Synerd, kind of like Ariane 5, but all the way around, not just sitting on one side. When do we expect SLS rollout? That's also a little ways out, T-Man. They had problems with the B-channel engine controller on engine number 4, and they're going to replace it. Long story short, the engine computers are doing something they don't want, so that they have to swap out some parts. How do you have gas pressure without a container? Flat ground, you're standing in pressurized gases literally right now. You have gas pressure right now. You're breathing in gas. You're breathing it in. You think that's air you're breathing now? Tell you what, dedicate this to White Claw. Real men drink White Claw. The gas is coming from inside the house. I prefer my atmosphere contained, though. Are you a scuba diver or something, Kiani? Almost got all the tiles on that thing. There are some tiles that did fall off up there on the left. See that? So what's keeping our air from going into space? Well, gravity and the magnetic field. Magnetic fields contain gases. That's pretty easy physics to understand. Earth has a north and a south pole. You know that if you take a compass and, you know, it kind of points at the poles. No? All right. Anyway, so that magnetic field keeps a lot of our gases in, and gravity keeps a lot of the gases in. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Yeah, it's not, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that. Gases are susceptible to gravity just like anything else. I want my bathroom to look like that? Yeah, hexagonal tiles, that'd be sick. Gravity like mass affecting mass. Mm-hmm. Pretty much. They should be, Mab. Unless they're all attached to the cilia blanket.
Discovery.
That white blanket that's underneath it. Opinion on this? Yes. Sure. Almost as much gravity as your mom. Oh, that's F1 news, Forge. Well, let's do space news for now. Everything affects everything in the universe. Flat. Everyone. Everything affects everything. So, like, Earth has more gravitational pull than the moon, all right? The sun has more gravitational pull than the Earth, so the sun revolves around the Earth. Your mom has more gravitational pull than all of those things, so the solar system revolves around that. So how do we observe gas being affected by gravity? A balloon with helium in it will show you that pretty well. Yeah, a balloon with helium, dude.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
That's my thing, wrecked. When is the airport DLC coming for cities? About 2 weeks. Gravity is down, right? Flat. This is hard to do. Okay. Gravity isn't down. It's down localized to the ground, right? But gravity actually changes when you get up into space, right? Like, gravitational acceleration changes because of how planets with high mass warp space and time. Okay, so right now the gravity is pulling towards the center of the Earth. Well, actually, it's not the exact center. It's close. It's the center of Earth's gravitational pull is not exactly in the center because Earth is kind of like a churning, bubbling, molten rock thing, like a giant jello mold, kind of floating through space. So stuff fluctuates. That's like that's what earthquakes are about and whatnot. Plate tectonics, right? So it has a non-uniform gravitational pull because everything is always churning inside of it constantly, right? So gravity is kind of localized somewhere near the center of the Earth, but like if you go to the moon, right, the gravitational pull is different. But so the moon is affected by Earth's gravity, but if you were on the moon, you would be affected by the moon's gravity, which would be affected by Earth's gravity. The gravitational acceleration changes. Does that make sense? The bigger the mass, the more it warps space and time. Like I make your mom jokes, but that's how it works, dude. At least that's how we think it works. Anyway. Everything's affecting everything in the universe. You have some gravitational pull on the Earth, but the Earth is a lot bigger than you, so it pretty much is used like nothing. Ship 20 do be looking good, though. Cool. So if I launch a vehicle from the Earth-looking side of the moon, I need less speed to go up. Yes and no, German. Yes and no. So the Earth is going to pull you. The Earth is going to pull you in some direction, right? But when you're that close to the moon and you're that far away from Earth, the gravitational accelerations actually will cancel each other out to an extent, right? Or one will overcome the other. If you're standing on the surface of the moon's going to pull you back before the Earth pulls you back. If you could jump from the surface of the moon and like go back to Earth, like free return back to Earth, the moon wouldn't be in orbit. Because if you could jump and get back to Earth's atmosphere from jumping on the moon, right? Like just a human jumping up and down, the Earth would pull the moon in, and the moon would become a new mountain, right? We wouldn't want that. That would be bad. Now, with that being said, yeah, if you launch straight up, pointing like directly at Earth, yeah, the Earth will pull you back in. You'll eventually get enough speed to counteract lunar gravitational acceleration, right? So if you accelerate up with enough, if you accelerate up and your acceleration goes above lunar acceleration for a sustained period of time, you're going to go back to Earth. If you go even faster, you'll go right past the Earth and you'll go to the sun, or a solar orbit. You won't go exactly to the sun, but you get the idea. Right, because if the mass of Earth is attracting gas, why is helium going up? Flat ground, it's literally the same reason why if you're in a pool and you look up towards the surface and you blow out a bubble, the bubble goes up. Why? It's less dense than the water around it, so it's going to rise. Helium is less dense than the atmosphere, so it's going to rise as well. That's why, like, hot air balloons have the gas, right?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Right? What does heating up a gas do? Heating up a gas expands it, right? See what I'm saying? And that gas will expand, and the other gas, which is heavier around it, will make the balloon go up. Gravity has something to do with it. Gravity is pulling all the gases around you. It's weird stuff to wrap your head around, dude. Because it's like, this is so far removed from, like, going to the store and getting groceries, right? Like, I can explain that to a person, no problem. But how gravity works is actually weird. The biggest thing that I have trouble explaining to people, not having trouble, the biggest thing for people to grasp their mind around is that, gravity warps space and time. And that's very, very strange. It's very hard for someone to understand that. You gotta have a pretty good understanding of physics to get to that point. But yeah, I mean, gravity is pulling gas down. How did the gas get up there in the first place? Is gas produced in the sky? Are you a troll? You trolling me? No? I mean, gas is just naturally occurring. Mars has gas on it. Gas naturally separates from everything else, just like blowing bubbles in a pool. Same thing. Just some good questions I've come across. Okay, I got you. Flat ground, I gotta be careful, man. People come in and they just want to get me to talk in circles all the time. But gas, okay, so like think about it like this, dude. Think about it like this. Does it get cooler at night? Why? Because there's no sun. There's no heat. Right? During the day, you heat everything up, everything gets warmer. Right? The gases will naturally separate from the ground. Like if there's ice, you have a bucket of ice, you put it out, sun comes up, melt that stuff immediately. It'll the orbital mechanics behind, the Earth spinning and revolving around the sun will basically naturally separate gases, solids, and liquids that exist at different pressures. This is getting a little bit, it gets a little bit hard to understand because you got to understand everything that's down here on the surface is being subjected to 14.7 psi of air pressure, right? So different gases boil at different pressures, but like for instance, water. Water boils at 1 bar, so 1 standard atmospheric pressure, so about the amount of pressure that you and I have right now that we're breathing. Water boils at 212 Fahrenheit or 100 Celsius, right? That changes. The boiling point changes depending on the pressure. But down here on the surface, gases naturally separate from liquids, and liquids naturally separate from solids just because of the environment around us. Does that make sense? It's a tough one. These are good questions. It naturally separates out. Like I said, if you had a bucket of ice, right, it's going to become a liquid in the morning. Why? Because of Earth's environment. Because of the way it is. Yeah, I know. Try to tell the Parker Solar Pro people to get there at night. Yeah, I know, right? Chopsticks are moving right now on Starbase Live very, very slowly. Oh, cool. Hold on. Let's check that out. Background, these are good questions, dude. But yeah, I mean, you're getting into why this stuff all happens is, long story short, it has to do with relativity. Relativity is basically generating the conditions that Earth is moving around the sun, right? And those conditions naturally separate gases out from solids in certain scenarios, right? Right, you're talking about just like evaporation. Bingo. You got it, dude. Yeah, gases will naturally become gases if they're subjected to the right environmental conditions. And the way that gravity is affecting our planet, pulling these gases down, you're still going to get some separation. It's just naturally occurring, believe it or not. Like I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, well, gases separate naturally on Earth because of the way Earth is. But they do that on other planets too. Heck, comets outgas all the time. What do you think a comet tail is? You picture a comet in your mind. You get that big chunk of fun at the beginning, and you get that big trail behind it, right? It's just gases being heated up because the comet is getting near a sun. Make sense? But the gas still has mass, right? Yeah, of course. Dude, you're getting into some basic fundamental principles of physics. That's called the law of conservation of mass, dude. You can have different mass at different densities, right? But you're never going to lose that mass, all right? If I have like 10 milliliters of water and I boil it in a pot, right, and the pot's sealed, you're still going to have the same amount of mass in there. It's just going to be in gaseous form. So that might change pressure, right? But it's still the same amount of mass in there. It doesn't give or take, right? Unless there's other atmospheric conditions. Dude, physics is complicated, man. This is why you need to go to school for this stuff. Weird stuff happens. Not weird stuff. It's just stuff that kind of is hard to wrap your mind around. But everything is susceptible to gravitational pull, right? Unless acted upon by an outside force, like a rocket, for instance. Let's punch us back up into live here. I don't see the chopsticks moving, guys. Do you? Cool mug? Thanks, man. Rewind, okay. Whoa, bro. Look. Oh! Yo, that's sick, dude. Hit him again. She moving. That's really cool. All right, anyway, let's jump back over here. Tell me if it moves again, guys. I'll keep that up. It's just odd to claim that gravity is downward and mass is attracting mass. It's downward localized to you, flat ground. That's the part that you missed. You're not thinking in 3 dimensions, dude. You're thinking in 2. Hey, 93, I think your cat's sitting on your keyboard, bud. I think your cat's sitting on your keyboard, man. Yo, 9320. Your cat's jumping on your keyboard, dude. Nope, here we go. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. All right. I'll time him for 10 minutes, bro. Bro, get your coffee mug off your keyboard, man. You're killing me. Oh, my God. The 9320 is not a bot, guys. It's not. That's not a bot. That's he put something down on his keyboard and it's holding the button down. Either that or he fell asleep on his keyboard. All the time, Jonas. I'm a patient guy, though. It's no problem. Wow. My AC, that air conditioner finally took a dump. It's not working. Can I link a video? Yeah, of course. Oh, they painted those things up. I don't know what those doghouses are for. Who knows? Oh yeah, there's a Veritasium video. Nice. If we have gas pressure that we are breathing, what is the gas pressure on to create the pressure? Gravity, flat ground. You say gravity, but gravity can't even hold gas on the surface of Earth like a balloon. Why would gravity suddenly stop it higher up if it's getting weaker? If you're at 100,000 feet and you just say you could warp to 100,000 feet, what's going to happen? I'm going to fall. Gravity's going to pull you back in. The only way to counteract that is to be able to speed up to give yourself enough of an outward acceleration to counteract gravitational pull. Gravity holds everything together. And part of the reason why the gases don't leave our atmosphere is because the magnetic field. I understand, I understand, like, what's holding the gases in? Why don't the gases just float out into space? That's where the magnetic field comes in, dude. Look at a planet like Mars. Mars is much more what you're expecting, all right? Mars doesn't have a magnetic field. For whatever reason, it may have at some point. For whatever reason, it doesn't. There is still some gas on Mars. But because there's no magnetic field, most of it just floated off into space. Solar winds are what pushed it away. The sun has like an exhaust cloud is basically what I like to say. It's an exhaust cloud, and just like any other power plant, it's just a power plant. It has these exhaust gases, and those gases move out, they radiate out and away from the sun once they hit escape velocity. They have to get out of the sun's corona, basically. The sun has gravitational pull too, and it holds most of that gas in there, but sometimes it goes out and away when, like, there's a solar flare or something, right? And that pushes out and it radiates out like a bubble from a boiling pot of water. And that creates solar perturbations that can blow gases off of planets. That absolutely happens, dude. Just talking simple terms. I'm on Earth. If I let go of a balloon, it goes up. I know. We've been over this. Flat, you understand that you're asking what's 2 plus 2. I'm telling you 4, and you're saying, no, it's not 4. You can't explain that it's 4. Where was I not clear? You talk about what happens on Mars, though. My balloons never go up. Becky's not a troll. It's not a troll if I have patience. The whole point of a troll is to get a rise out of me, which if it is a troll, it's failing miserably. I can sit here and talk gravity all day. Joke's on you. I like talking about this stuff. It's what I get paid for. Thank you for your patience. I'm not trying to troll. No, I got you, man. Dude, if you're asking questions in good faith, man, I got you. I'll sit here for 8 hours talking to you about this stuff. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. What do I have better to do? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's because he wants to talk to the streamer, guys. So, flat ground. Okay. All right. Here. Dude, I will make this even simpler, dude. I'll make it as simple as I possibly can. If you have a rock, right? Okay? And you have a balloon full of air, a balloon full of oxygen. Okay? What's going to hit the ground first? You drop them. It's going to hit the ground first. Your mom. Goat him. Okay, I'll just talk it through because there's a lot of people in chat. So, you have a rock that weighs 2 pounds, and then you have a balloon that has 2 pounds of gas in it, right? 2 pounds of oxygen. You drop them, they're both going to hit the ground at the same time, right? Because everything is under the force of gravity. Now, here's the thing. This is where this gets weird, okay? Helium has what's called reverse buoyancy. The reason why it has reverse buoyancy is because the atmospheric gases. So the gases that you're breathing right now is nitrogen and oxygen. Okay, that's what you're breathing. Nitrogen and oxygen. Now, hear me out. Look at this table. This is the periodic table of the elements. All right, this is not like some crazy crackpot spaceflight theory. Okay, take a look. So these are assembled by mass. Okay, lighter stuff. Stuff that's less mass is up here. It's not lighter because it's not weight. Weight and mass are different. Heavier stuff is down here. Okay? What can you tell me about this? If our atmosphere is nitrogen and oxygen and you take a helium balloon and you let it go, what's going to happen? It's not so much that the helium can break gravity. It can't. Eventually, gravity will pull it back down. What is going on is that helium has less mass than nitrogen and oxygen by a long shot. See that? See the difference here? 2. Helium is the second lightest element, or the second lowest mass element that we have, or that we've discovered, aside from hydrogen, right? You have nitrogen and oxygen. The nitrogen and oxygen are quite literally heavier. It is heavier because we're under the force of gravity, so weight does have something to do with it. It's lighter. It's reverse buoyant, dude. All right, now, there's another video that I can show you that dude, I'm telling you, this will blow your mind. You'll be like, what the frick? I don't understand what's happening here. Here. So, there's a YouTuber called Smarter Every Day, a guy by the name of Destin, and he actually goes over this stuff pretty well.
Hey.
Here, check this out. I won't show the whole video, but there he is,
It's
right?
me, Destin. Welcome back to...
So check this out. He's in a car with his kids, right? And he has a weight from the hanging from the car, right? And then you accelerate with the car. See what happens? The weight goes back, right? See what's going on here? The weight goes back, right? Because the car is accelerating, and under acceleration, that mass will pull backwards, right? Pretty straightforward stuff. That's what you're expecting. All right, now. Move to the part with the helium balloon. Watch this. There's a helium balloon right there. When he accelerates, the balloon goes forward. And when he turns to the left, it goes to the left. It doesn't go to the right. It doesn't have outward force. Not because gravity is doing its thing here. Everything is holding gravity to the ground right here. But all the gases in the car are moving this way. And because the helium is lighter under acceleration, just like gravity, the balloon goes forward. It's very weird, man. But this is stuff that's hard to understand. It's hard to wrap your mind around this stuff. But this basically explains exactly what I'm talking about. Look, he's got the plum right there with the helium balloon. See what I'm talking about? Look. Is that weird or what? If you want to see the whole video, I'll link it up in chat. Check it out. It's more to do with densities. No, Everest. No. 9. Now is not the time to be specific. You have to explain it in layman's terms. If you want to get more complicated, man, that's just gonna confuse somebody that's trying to understand this. No. Take your Germanness and put it over there. Okay? Check the video out, Flat. Look at Destin's video. He'll explain it better than I can. There's a bunch of things going on, Flat. Yeah, pretty much. Trust me, Destin will not steer you wrong. That guy is cool. I don't know him personally. I'd love to meet him, though. It's a combination of force, density, and mass, and a couple of other things. Basically, Newton's laws, dude. This is like the stuff that Isaac Newton came up with a long time ago. You know, the apple came down and hit him off the head. At least that's what's said. I don't think that's what happened, but it's not a very good experiment, though, or an experiment at all, honestly. But it's a neat parlor trick. I mean, it's not really, it's the same exact phenomenon just being demonstrated in a car. I mean, this is not like a parlor trick, dude. You can do this. Fill up a balloon and put it in your car and step on the gas. See what happens. Can it be demonstrated in nature? A volcano will demonstrate this pretty well. The fact that you're breathing air and not dirt right now explains it pretty well. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, you could go test this stuff yourself right now, dude. Like, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. There's nothing wrong with being a contrarian, Smib. Being a contrarian is being scientific. You don't try to prove stuff, you try to disprove it. That's what being scientific is all about, which is why I demonstrate patience with people. I don't care if they're trolling. I got physics behind me. Physics laws are not open to interpretation. It's pretty straightforward stuff. You know? This is heavy, Doc. Well, it has nothing to do with it. Passing, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I'll sit here and do this all day. I'll find a way to explain it that ticks in your head. This is what I'm good at. Doesn't bother me. I'm patient. You guys know I'm patient. Long story short, man, like I said, it's the first thing that I said to you, Flat. This stuff is so far removed from daily life, dude. You don't even think about it, you know? You don't even think about it. It's tough. It's tough to, like, you know, when your curiosity gets piqued by this stuff and you want to start learning about it, it's tough and it gets overwhelming. Now, like, dude, I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, you're just a troll, blah, 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 blah. I take my time with people, dude. I take my time, and I'll sit here and explain it until I'm blue in the face. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. I've sat here and taught rocket science to 15-year-olds. You know, they picked it up over time. Hey, Dak Attack, what's going on? Do you have the address? What? No problem, Dak. It's just physics, man. I appreciate it. Thanks. No problem, dude. Because, like, Flat, if I sat here and said, oh, you're just a troll, you don't understand science, blah, 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 blah. Look at this guy. He doesn't understand science. Well, guess what? That's just going to make you more skeptical. Like, why do we think there's a bunch of people that are skeptical of science? Well, there's a bunch of people that are skeptical of science because nobody sits there and explains it to them. You have to explain this to them. This is thing one of change, of curbing that crap. I can't stand that. You know, when people can't be bothered to explain science out to people because they're, you know, I don't have time for this. Yeah, screw you, you don't have time for this. That's a disservice to science. That's a huge disservice to science. Why would you do that? You're just gonna make more enemies that way. Like, that's why I'll sit here. I'll explain it. I'll explain it till I can't explain it no more, man. Yeah, hellfish. And once again, dude, I don't. Dude, straight up, there's flat earthers that watch this stream. In flat ground, I'm not saying you're a flat earther. Like, there's people that are skeptical of science that watch the stream because they don't, like, I don't give a frick. Like, I don't have some compulsive need to prove people wrong. Like that's really, really, really immature, you know? Yeah, there you go, Sebi, right? Flat, stick around, dude. I mean, trust me. Dude, look, I'm a freaking caveman myself, man. It's taken me 10 years to learn what I know, right? It's taken a long freaking time. Just, if you stick around, dude, that question will get explained eventually. It's just tough to understand buoyancies of gases. Gases are buoyant in our atmosphere. They're buoyant, but they're still susceptible to gravity. The helium balloon, if you let it go, it won't just keep going up and up and up and up and up, right? It'll eventually come back down, right? Well, it'll come back down because of other reasons, because of temperature change. Temperature change changes, that's the ideal gas law and whatnot. So, long story short, when gases get cold, they contract, and when they get hot, they expand. This stuff just, dude, it takes some time. It takes time for it to tick in your head. There's a reason why people need to go to school for a very long period of time to get at this stuff, He can stick around, but he should stop restreaming me. All right. I don't care if he's restreaming me. I really don't give a frick. You're restreaming me, dude? All right. So what? I'm so sorry I wasn't trying to restream you. That's fine. I don't care. Pretty much, Henry. Yep. Sue him into the ground. Because that's really good with DMCA stuff, right? Like me perpetuating that garbage, Oh, jeez. If I DMCA, can you imagine? If I DMCA'd every time somebody picked up my stream and looked at it on their stream, dude, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. This is why I'm so staunch with, patience and stuff, because education should be free. To an extent, you know what I mean? Like, if you want a specialized skill or whatever, but at least basic physics, we should be able to spread that information around as much as possible. Curtailing that pisses me off, big time, which is why I can't take a position as an educational streamer and just copy strike everybody that freaking restreams my stuff and simultaneously say that I think the free information of at least basic science should be perpetuated around. You know what I'm saying? That's really stupid and hypocritical. I wouldn't do that, and I never have, and I never will. Dude, like I said, with the whole education thing notwithstanding, there's a reason why people go to school for this. I often tell people that physicists are just people that are trying to figure out how the universe's game engine works. They're beta testing the universe. But yeah, the cool thing about it is that it's always evolving. But the laws of physics are pretty straightforward, man. Appreciate you taking the time to explain. No problem, man. It's really not a big deal, guys. I do this all the time. Kerbal teaches you more than college, yeah. You cannot change the laws of physics, Captain. If he is lighter than air, if he is lighter than air, why is it here and it didn't all float away? I can answer questions, LCD, but you got to form it in the structure of a sentence that my stupid butt can understand. I don't know what you're trying to ask me. Hey, Gujar, did you cover the full deployment of the Sun Shield on James Webb? It's the first thing I covered. I led space news with that thing, man. Actually, flat ground, you know what, dude? Here, let me just tell you this. The reason why I like physics so much, not necessarily science, but the laws of physics, right? So, and by proxy, the laws of thermodynamics. So, like how heat works, basically. The reason why I like those laws so much is because they're not open for people and their stupid interpretations. You can't change the laws of physics. They're not open for interpretation. They're not, well, I think that, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. That's why I like it. It's a datum of solid information that you can grasp to. You know what I mean? In a world where everybody has their own point of view about every freaking thing, point of view about this, point of view about that, interpretation of this, interpretation of that. No, physics doesn't give a frick about your interpretation. It does not care. If you jump off a building, you can't fly just because you think you're going to. Right? Believe me, people have tried that. Don't do that. It's great. I love physics. I love physics because it's unyielding. It is unyielding and unrelenting. You cannot prove it wrong. Maybe sometime in the future. We need that warp drive. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love math and freaking physics so freaking much because of that. It's really, like, at its base element, it's super easy to understand because it makes perfect sense. But trying to place your mind there and trying to understand it, especially when, like, outside looking in, that takes time. It takes time, dude. I don't think I'm going to convince you here in 30 minutes of streaming, you know what I'm saying? It's very logical, cannabis, exactly. That's why I love it so much. It's no room for people and their stupid interpretation about physics. It's great. Oh, it's so nice. It's so refreshing. It makes my stupid caveman brain able to think clearly, you know what I mean? Yeah, no problem, Googe. See last. Okay, W. We need to get faster than light travel and communication. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. But Flat, stick around. Might learn something, dude. Anyway, check out that Smarter Everyday video. Trust me on this, man. I will get you to understand this, and I do not expect anything in return. I will get you to understand this. I guaranteed it. You mentioned earlier that science was about disproving things. Can you elaborate? Well, that has to do with what's called the scientific method. Sure. Okay. The laws of physics are pretty concrete. That stuff is not very much open to interpretation. But if you're conducting a scientific experiment, right? If you're doing a scientific experiment, say, okay, I'll do a scientific experiment. We could do a scientific experiment with a helium balloon, right? That helium balloon that I just told you about. If you do that experiment and you get a result, it's not that, well, I did this and the balloon went forward and the weight went backward. Boom. Helium is less buoyant than everything else. There you go. That's not how you approach science. You approach science from a point of skepticism. You say, well, the balloon did that in this test, but what if I do the same exact test and replicate the same exact conditions? This is what's called peer review. Dude, this is huge. This is how peer review and scientific skepticism is how we basically quantified the laws of physics, right? Isaac Newton didn't just say, oh, there's an apple and it fell off the tree. Boom, this is how it is. No, he needed other people to replicate that to try and confirm it. Einstein's theory of relativity, the same exact thing. How they proved relativity and the fact that gravity warps space and time, and that's the reason why we have accelerations, right? Like under gravity, right? Is because Einstein was able to look through a telescope at a star with another star behind it. And at certain points when the stars coincide, you could still see it. So like if two stars, like you have a star here and you have a star here, and he's looking from right here, right? The stars went past each other, but they never eclipsed. Why? Because stars warp space and time. They went like this, right? So we know that gravity warps space and time. That's what proved that theory. And once Einstein did it, he said, this is what's going on. And you know what? Everybody said, nah, that's not right. You're an idiot. And he said, fine. Do it yourself. You will get the exact same result. Through this scientific method and skepticism, intense skepticism, is how we basically refined those laws of physics to the concrete laws that they are now. That's so important to understand. Because think about it, man. If I have an idea saying, oh yeah, I can fly. I can fly if I jump off of a building, right? Like no one's gonna bother replicating that, right? Because we know what's gonna happen. Why do we know? Well, because somebody already challenged that theory a long time ago, and then we figured out that we need to use something that would later become what's called Bernoulli's principle if you wanted to fly, and that's how planes work, right? You don't want to do that. So you don't approach science like, and this is why I don't like that people are so, they don't have the patience to explain it, because that's not how science works. That's totally incorrect. You don't do that way. You have to have the patience, because if you understand what you're talking about and can explain it correctly, then you can explain it to somebody that and they can understand it and go from there. You don't just say, oh, well, you don't understand this, piss off, I don't have time for this. That is the exact opposite of the entire scientific method. Like, that's no good at all. You don't want that in the least. That's how you get people to stop believing in how science works. The whole thing is based off of being skeptical. Like, if you say, oh, I can throw a rock into a pool, right, and it'll float, right? Everyone's going to say you're full of crap until they try to replicate it themselves. And if they can't replicate it, then you're full of crap. Then it's a self-evident process that refines itself over time, which is really freaking cool. It's just a loop. And we've been able to refine that process so much that we've been able to come up with concrete laws, like the laws of physics. Object in motion stays in motion. Object at rest stays at rest. Force equals mass times acceleration. Those laws were refined through the scientific method, and we got them to their base element. It's like the fundamental for how the entirety of society works. But if the rock weighs more than a duck, then she's a witch. I agree, Hando. If you're not good enough to teach a topic, you don't fully understand it. Personal theory of mine. Now, people will disagree with me on that, but it helps if you like it too. But yeah, there's a world of physics out there. Dude, how stuff reacts to everything and how everything works in the universe. Once again, it's so far removed from our daily lives that it might seem like you're talking to a couple of crackpots. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear kind of the stuff that, like, scientific pundits out there like Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson and Robert Zubert. You hear what they're talking about. You're like, yeah, I understood some of those words, I guess, right? But once it ticks in your head and you get a firm grasp on it, I'm not going to say those guys will start making sense. Am I right? No. Then you'll be like, oh man, wow, there's a lot of cool stuff out there that I'd like to understand. And guess what? That loop never stops. Once you learn one thing, you're gonna want to learn another thing, and you're gonna want to learn another thing, and you're gonna want to learn another thing. That never goes away. Anyway, I'm going to get back into the footage here. Let's look at that live footage from Starbase. I guess have they moved this since? I don't think they moved it. Oh, man, the chopsticks, are they going up? No. But it's about disproving. It's always been about disproving. It's called the scientific method. It's very important to understand that stuff. They moved it up a little bit. Yeah. Cool. But if you have any more questions or anything, Flatground, jump into my Discord. You can message me directly. I'll answer it as best as I can. I'm not an end-all, be-all garbage truck. I'm not an end-all, be-all information resource, dude. I wish I had infinite knowledge. That would be really cool. But if I can't get you an answer, I can find somebody that can. I ain't perfect, man. I get stuff wrong sometimes. It happens. Did I prepare that you were going to come in here today and start asking questions about the laws of physics? No. But I'll try my best. I try my best, dude. Anyway. Garbage truck. Got to give you a challenge. Please, for the love of God, don't do that, Elfish. It's hard enough, man. It's hard enough for the people that actually want to come in here and learn, man. You don't need to give me curveball questions. Just because I got to keep you on your toes. Yeah, well, you got to shut up. Boom. Roasted. Anyway, let's get back to the NSF video. Sorry about that. If you guys don't know me, I like giving people crap too. I give the most amount of crap to people that I like. So this is not the live view. This is a view from a couple of days ago. This is after the crane separated from heavy. You don't learn anything by winning. No, but winning feels good, man. She never gives you crap. Shut up. Hey, when are my roads gonna get finished, you jerk? Boom. There you go. Is that good enough? Why does gravity exist? Because of your mom. With the thickness of the metal on those unknown parts, what do you want to bet that there's something like engineering camera housings? There is. There's one right there. You can see it on Starship. I don't know if that's particularly what you're referring to, but bum 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 bum. Spum-ba-ba-bum. 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 Get the frick up. Spum-ba-ba-bum. Elon says, get the frick up. Spum-ba-ba-bum. 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 Ba-ba-ba-bum. Spum-ba-ba-bum. Sorry. It always reminds me of Godzilla, right? Hey, Ryan, what's going on? Get the frick up. Elon says, get the frick up. Launch your rockets to the sky. Whoa, 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 whoa. Elon's in the back drinking White Claw. What's up? Bum, 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 bum. Starship, flap your wings. Yeah. Yeah, I said it. Flap your wings. What is the first step of the scientific method? A hypothesis, man. Come up with a theory. I think that this is going to do this. Test that theory. See if this thing does this. Get a result, and then have somebody else do it. Scientific method's great, man. It's really, really smart. Whoever thought of that, whoever came up with that, smart dude. Okay. All right, so we still have a couple more vidges here. All right, let's go. This is from 2 days ago, and then we have yesterday's video to go through. Hypothesis isn't a theory, though, right? Well, you form a theory from a hypothesis, guys. I think this is going to do this, all right? I think this test result is going to do this, and then you form the theory from that. But the entire point is to be skeptical. You have to be able to disprove it. You're going to say, nah, it's not going to do that. It might do that. If I conduct this test, this might do this. A theory is a validated hypothesis. And then you have people peer review your theory, flat ground, so you do know it. You sure you're not trolling me? Sure you're not trolling me, dog? You sure you're not trolling me? Fellas, see this thing right here? I wonder what that thing is for. They welded some big freaking bracket on there. That's a chunky boy bracket. It looks like something kind of slides in and locates itself on there. I wonder what that sucker's for. If I was trolling you, I'd rickroll you. But no, you wouldn't. Pythos, you wouldn't do that. Friends don't let friends get rickrolled. Okay? This is a Liebherr 11,000 flight sim, just like the one that they had. Not the one that stacked Starship initially. Ooh, hello. But, it's for your mama. Destroyed. Anyway. You'd hate me. Rick Astley's new music is slapping. Didn't need to know that. If you can answer what is gravity other than a force, I think you would have a Nobel coming to you soon. Yeah. Gravity creates a force. That's the right way to say that. But I was trying to be very straightforward before, but yeah. Fun fact, did you know that Alfred Nobel invented dynamite? Well, TNT to be more precise. I think it's TNT. Yeah. Yeah. Nobel Peace Prize for the guy that invented dynamite. Oops. Gravity isn't a force, it's a mindset, dude. TNT was invented later, so it was dynamite. There you go. To be honest, he did invent it as a way of repaying his debt for inventing TNT. Yeah. No drones. FAA says so. The only question I got is if gravity is on Earth. If gravity on Earth is actually just centrifugal forces due to Earth's spinning rotation. No. It's not. If we... Maka, centrifugal has an outward acceleration, not inward. No. Think about like the swing ride at the carnival. You're spinning around, the swing goes out, right? When the thing is spinning. If the entirety of Earth was a big ball of helium, then yeah, maybe. But no. Centripetal is inward, centrifugal is outward.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, Maka, the spinning doesn't have anything to do with that. Earth's gravity is way higher than the outward force that's generated from the Earth spinning. It's way stronger than that. Earth's gravwell is a pain in the butt, dude. Ask Elon. He'll tell you why. Spinning is a neat trick, though, indeed. So is going left. And maybe even listing lazily to the left. Bit windy though. Yeah. It's a freaking screw jack. Mab, you see that? It's a freaking screw jack. Like you'd use to jack the car up. It's a rack and pin. That's a huge threaded rod right there. It's a freaking screw jack. That's how they move the conveyor. Freaking screw jack, man. Go back. Yeah, I got you. This is a threaded rod right there. The entire conveyor belt is a big rack and pinion. Ridiculous. Because there's definitely a bushing there, and there's a bearing in it too. It's a freaking screw jack. See, there's one over there too. That's just a screw jack. But hey, you use what works, right? Screw jack. Screw that jack, I guess. Wait, why? What did jack do? If it works, don't mess with it. Indeed, Grape Ape. Yeah, you got it, buddy. Yeah, if it works, and if it's stupid and it works, then it ain't stupid. But see, here's the thing: you really want to think into engineering, guys. The key is to figure out the easiest way to achieve the result. Anybody can make something complicated. The screw jack is probably the easiest way to do that, the simplest way to do it. You can make a conveyor belt. They could put M1 Abrams tank treads up there, but now you got to figure out a way to move it. How you going to move it? What's the easiest way? Well, a screw jack generates a ton of torque. That's why jacks use a screw like that. Like a car jack is a screw jack. It's a great way to generate force from. You get torqued force from that. Well, torqued force. That's not really the right way to say it, but you got to reduce it to its base element. That's literally the reason why they're trying to catch that thing on the left instead of putting landing legs on it, because they're trying to make the rocket as simple as you can. Thing is, you're making a fully reusable rocket. It's hard to make a fully reusable rocket as simple as you can. That's like saying I'm trying to make differential equations as simple as possible. And then every engineer here just went, no, don't even say those words. Why would you do that? Well, I did. I don't even do calculus, and I went, A screw is just a complex lever. Those words are heresy. No, it was heresy. But your inability to do differential equations was a colossal failure. I will continue my calculus campaign. No, you will not. Yeah, how about nerd jokes? That's a nerd joke right there. Yep, I hate them. Thanks, I hate it. Second day of work with the Florida Emergency Management. Great to be in my home state doing what you love. Okay. Okay. Now, calculating systems of those equations is the real fun. She's angry German. I don't even do that stuff, but I understand the complexity to an extent, and I'm just like, no. It's getting weird, Jerry. This happened yesterday. Was ist das, Fudge? Was? Oh ja, wunderbar. Ich glaube, ja, very good. Torsion matrices have entered the chat. Torsion matrices? Torsion matrices. That's a thing. Torsion matrices? Torsion like Twisty Boy? Are you just making up words? Did we just become best friends? Hold up, I might got the translation wrong. Chat, stop it. Differential equations in math are a forbidden topic. We call them tenseurs in French. Tensors. Oh. Tensor matrices. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was like, torsion? What? What? Tensor makes good trucks for skateboards. That's my contribution to that conversation. Showing full well that I have no idea what the hell that means. Yeah. All right, man. High five. For sale? Bro. Okay. How much is it for that sale? It's by owner. By owner is the price. Wait. Wide bay's coming together, man. That is a big freaking building. They're making the sub-assemblies for it over here, and then they pick up pieces and assemble it like a giant erector set. Same way that thing was made. I don't want to buy the owner. I want to buy the building. But it says the land is for sale if you buy the owner. How could that possibly be misconstrued? I'm pretty sure they made laws against that a long time ago. but, I mean, the sign doesn't lie. This is the dynamic test stand. They have hydraulic jacks that pull down on these things to crumple the booster. Just like garage sales. I don't want just the garage. I want the house too. I'll take a garage sale. That's fine with me, dude. I need to store my cars somewhere. You can rent a owner in Las Vegas, but buy... Right. Okay. Back to Starship. Right. Yeah, it's true, Signer. Yeah. Move to Florida, get some land, and store it on the lawn like every other Floridian. I would, public, but Brimo won't let me. She's being very mean. Oh, arch my shoulders. Oh. I have some land in Oklahoma you can use. Yeah, but that's... Kucher... Oklahoma is far away from me. I know exactly how far away from me it is, believe me. I've driven from Oklahoma to Massachusetts. Fun story. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, God, that'd be fun. These are pipes, and that is a backhoe. These are drones. Hey, I thought, didn't the sign say no drones? I think it's a Chevy. It's a Caterpillar. It said cat on the side. They say you can hear laughing pipes. Those are crows, not pigeons. Pigeons are drones, right? Yes. I think we got one more video. This is the video from today. Let's see. Once again, this stuff is coming from NASA Spaceflight, guys. If you like this footage, be sure to go over and subscribe to the NSF YouTube channel. Trust me, if you want to check this footage out daily without me blabbering over it all the time, you can go check it out there. But make sure you go give them a sub. If not, you like my commentary, still sub to their channel so I can keep doing this. They let me look at all this stuff pretty much unabated, right? So, hey, fuel trucks. So make sure you go and support them, because supporting them over here inadvertently supports me and allowing me to blabber over all of this. Yep, 1073. You can tell that's liquid oxygen because of the way it is. Yeah, it's a little windy down there, Electro. That's a water truck. That one has nitrogen in it. So does that one. Oh. Wait, they're... Yo, Mab. Okay. I see what's going on in here. I see what's going on in here. That looks like a cover to cover up the integration hooks, dude. Yeah, it looks like there's a steel plate that covers that all up. They can remove all the tiles as one subassembly. Interesting. These are the covers where the hold points are. Yeah, I was wondering, I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? But now I see it. Yeah. These tiles with the dots on them that look like dice, right? Or dice? Yeah, dice. It's plural. Yeah, that's all under one plate. Very interesting. That might generate some non-uniform heating there. I'm sure they they understand that pretty well. Yeah, see, they took the whole thing off as a plate. So these are where the crane picks up Starship. There's 6 attachment points up here that they can hook onto a jig so the crane can move 20 around. See, there's a little hook in there. See it right there for the crane? They got to remove this plate, though. Interesting. You can literally see the hook. That's where well, not the hook, the dowel where the hook attaches to. See it right there? Interesting.
For the next hour.
For the next hour. No, Sebby, they're much too high for the engines on Lunar Starship. I don't know, Balk. I'd have to go check it. Scaffolding being removed, huh? Oh. Wait a minute. What's that noise in the background? Hold on. I gotta turn it up for a second. It's a Detroit diesel. Yeah, you hear that? It's a Detroit diesel. I know that noise. Nice. 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 Unmistakable sound. It's like when you hear automat fire. Unmistakable noise. Hey, removing scaffolding is indicative of something being finished up there, so what I'm trying to tell you is that they are all drinking Lonquero right now. Yeah, yes. No, they're taking scaffolding down, so whatever they were working on is finished up there. Kelly. Lonquero? I drank a lot of Lonquero over New Year's while playing Summer Car, Nora. You don't like Lonquero? Lonquero. It's good. That stream was golden. Guys, my parents were watching that stream. It's not as golden. Not as golden as I thought. One honest question, how wasted was I? Not wasted. Just got a nice drunk going for the entire stream. Come on, it was funny. Yeah. I was over at my parents' house on Sunday and they're like, we didn't like how you signed off the stream. I'm like, how did I sign off the stream? And they were like, you said bad things. And I'm like, uh-oh. Is that asbestos? It's probably not asbestos. It's probably aluminum thermal insulation, if I had to guess, Apocalypsis. What was that special beverage you were saving? I think I left before you got it out. Is this, because real men drink White Claw. I drank half of a package of White Claw and I actually sobered up. Drummer, I remember the whole thing. I wasn't wasted. You guys gotta understand, there's many levels. Okay? There's buzzed, and then there's tipsy, and then there's drunk, and then there's like wasted, and then blackout. Alright? Like, there's many levels. I never got past drunk, not even close. And it took like 20 cans of Lonquero to do that. The Thrace Comas stream was blackout. I don't remember the end of that stream. I remember the entire stream. Whereas Plastered is between wasted and blackout. What's that mound of dirt? This is a berm separating where the landing complex is from where the orbital tank farm is. Oh, hey, Thomas. What's new with you?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Above drunk is Professor EJ. That's my favorite stage. Mad Harry Jag. 2-month resub. Thank you. You did send me to hell 2 times for asking something, like not nicely. Sorry? I don't know. What did I say? I don't know. Is your scientific drinking scale peer reviewed? It already was in chat. Most of the chat agreed. You know how I know? Because nobody said I was wrong. Boom. Is that VOD available? No. The New Year's VODs always get deleted for pretty good reason. Yeah. Deleted. Yeah. It's a one-time thing. You're either here for it or you're not. I'm mad I didn't save mine from last year. Some things were said that probably shouldn't. Freaking time zones, man. Sorry. The Trace Comas one, geek. I don't think I'll ever top that. And I don't think I'll ever top that because I don't want to top that, not because I can't. Oh. Yeah, Stevie, that was the thing. You told me my grandma... I told you my grandma owed me rent money? What? Wait. Dude, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know, dude. Just... I don't want to know. What? What? You would have won that race if you didn't close the other eye, too. Yes. I don't understand. Oh, dude, look at that impact wrench. That is a big boy impact wrench. Maybe, geek. I don't know. These guys are installing the lattice for the outer skin of the tower, where the outer plating. Plating? That's not plating either. The wall. Best moment was Primo car reviews. Yeah, Forge. I don't think I need to. Wait, what's that? Hold on. Nitrogen storage tanks at the propellant production site. Nitrogen? The facade. Yeah. Yeah, the paw. The hoof. No, not the hoof, the paw. Yeah, the paw. N2 for purging and testing? Yeah, but at the build site, Galaxy? And you, too, what? What is a you? Yeah, maybe Balk. I'll be honest, guys. I'm waiting for something to show it. So, this is Ship 24's common dome sleeve. Starship's design changed. Again. Alright, Sun Temple. See you, buddy. And I want to show you why. It has to do with this. Elon confirmed this on Twitter the other day. Let's see if they show them sleeving that sucker. Oh yeah, they do. Do you know the Project Nautilus telescope? I think Methane and Locke's header in the nose. Tank and tank are side by side. I think one after the other, Balk. One in front of the other. Also confirmed Raptor 2 is alive and very well at 300 bar. Yeah. I was waiting to talk about it with the header? With the heading tank. With the methane tank stuff. So, guys, check this out. Starship's design in the past has had a huge spherical dome right here at the midship between the methane and the liquid oxygen tank, and that's called the methane header tank. The idea is that the header tank will hold mass, right? It will hold mass at, it'll hold extra fuel, the landing fuel, basically. It's a fuel tank inside of a fuel tank. Now, this new design, if you look, doesn't have any header tank right there. There's nothing. There's just a spot for the downcomer. So the pipe that goes down to the rocket engines, because the fuel pipe from the methane tank goes through the liquid oxygen tank down to the bottom of Starship. And they, hello. And check this out. They sleeve it without the header tank, which means that the header tank is moved up front. That's the big change. So we're back to Mark 1 header tanks now. Yeah. Has the shuttle bay door variant got any updates? Nothing yet, Sile. No, I haven't seen it, but then again, there might be something in the back half of this footage. The CH-4 tank in the nose makes sense since the new forward flap placement makes the payload bay door shorter anyway. They're still working on those Raptor problems? Raptor itself, Sky Seas, doesn't have any problems. It's the factory that makes Raptor. That's the problem. Raptor is working just fine. The engines work great. And once again, that's the other bit of news. Elon tested Raptor engines at 300 bar. It's routinely been tested at 300 bar. Something I knew that they were doing that, but I knew from sources say, so I waited for that information to become public. A little while back, if you're a regular for Space News, I said I heard some things coming from McGregor. That's what it was. But I didn't want to report it as news because I didn't know for sure. I had no way of knowing. ELA 5, why is 300 bar considered significant progress? Has it been hard to achieve? No rocket engine ever has operated at 300 bar consistently, Salkovsky. That's right, Pythos. I don't report it if I have no way of verifying it. Or at least I try not to. I still make some mistakes from time to time. Hey, Mestu, 3-month resub. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, Hellfish, I think so. That's what I was going to say. We'll get into that in a moment. ELA 5, why is 300 bar consistent? Okay. Okay. Sile, I'm going to give you a car analogy, okay? Because there's not really many good ways to explain this without just telling you that it basically comes down to fuel delivery. Trying to deliver enough fuel to maintain 300 bar chamber pressure is very, 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 very complicated. Once again, it goes back to Raptor's integrated powerhead design. The integrated powerhead design it has a hydrostatic bearing, which allows the turbopumps to be able to spin at insanely high speeds to be able to deliver that type of chamber pressure. It's not that we couldn't make a rocket. Remember, this is what I said. It's not that we couldn't make a rocket engine operate at 300 bar. It's making a rocket engine operate at 300 bar for a sustained period of time. And if you want a higher chamber pressure, you got to deliver more fuel to maintain that pressure, right? So the car analogy that I'm trying to tell you is basically, you know, a car engine has a rev limit, okay? Before you redline it. And when you redline it, stuff starts breaking. Basically, the engine can't move any faster without something breaking down. So a higher revving engine is going to require you to A, deliver more fuel, just like a rocket engine, and B, you have to really make sure that those parts are perfectly balanced so they can spin at higher RPMs, right? That's what Raptor's turbopumps do. That's the big breakthrough for Raptor's tech. It's the integrated power head. Or the tech from Raptor is based off of something called the integrated power head demo, which was, once again, hydrostatic bearings. So I'm just explaining this in terms of an easy way to understand it, but like, long story short, the fuel and the liquid oxygen and the liquid methane are what hold, they're the bearing for the turbopump. Yeah, they're the bearings. The turbopump has no bearings. The propellant is the bearing. It saves weight, and it allows the turbopumps to operate at extremely high RPM. Raptor's turbopumps are spinning at like, I don't know the exact number. I've been hearing that it's beyond like 30,000 revolutions a minute. It's really, really high. That's what makes Raptor do what it can do. That's why it has a full flow stage combustion cycle. It's from the bearing design, or the lack thereof, in the turbopumps. But I don't know that for sure. I don't know the revolutions per minute for sure. I know it's higher than a lot of rocket engines. It has to be. That's the only way you can sustain 300 bar. It has to be insanely high. Yeah, geek. It's like an oil-cooled bearing. Oil-cooled turbocharger. Instead of ball bearing turbos, the oil is the bearing. Yeah, instead of being used for lubrication, it's used as the bearing. It's next level stuff. We'll probably see that tech hit turbochargers in cars sometime. At some point. How much thrust can 300 bar produce? I think they're shooting for like 2,400 kilonewtons, which is ridiculous. 2,400 kilonewtons of thrust at 380 second specific impulse at 300 bar chamber pressure is absurd. That's like saying I want a car engine that makes 1,000 horsepower, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, and gets 80 miles to the gallon. That is ridiculous. It is ridiculous physics going on. But once again, it comes from those hydrostatic bearings. What is a hydrostatic bearing? It's a bearing that uses liquid. In this case, I'm pretty sure it's the fuel. How much thrust did the engines on the Saturn V make? 6,700 kilonewtons of thrust. Or, well, it's closer to 6,500 kilonewtons. Journal bearing turbos rely on hydrostatic tribology already. Well, there you go. Hey, Simonos, welcome back. Welcome to Mission Control. You go at throttle up. Thanks, man. Thanks for the tier 1. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, guys, that's the big thing. And they never talk about it because I don't think they really should, or can. But we can here. Hydrostatic bearings. Look up the integrated power head demo. The funny thing is, here's the real funny thing. The BE4, Blue Origin's first stage engine that they're still working on right now, and Raptor share a common lineage. They both stem from the integrated power head demo. Yeah, same family. Same family tree. Just like all Russian bombers and all American bombers can trace their lineage back to the B-29. Yeah, funny story. One Raptor reached 330 according to Elon. Yep. Well, they always want to over-engineer it, Forge. Yep. It's pretty crazy stuff, guys. That's the big one. That's why 300 bar chamber pressure style is basically, yeah. In terms of rocketry, it's like 1,000 horsepower, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, 100 miles a gallon. It is ultimate. It is stretching methane to its absolute limits. It's the most efficient a methane engine can be, and about as strong as it can be. That's really pushing physics to the brink. That's why it's hard to manufacture. That's why they have trouble scaling, because you need a lot of exotic metals to be able to hold that chamber pressure, and you need a lot of exotic materials to be able to make those turbines. It's the same reason why a jet engine never ended up in a car. I mean, the big one is because of emissions, right? But jet engines are complicated to manufacture. They're very simple in operation, and they're very reliable for operation, but they're complicated to make. You got to make them. Because the Russians got one and literally stripped one to make a copy. That's right. The Tupolev 4 is a carbon copy of a B-29. Yeah. Yeah. All bombers can trace their lineage back to... the B-29. Yeah. Pretty crazy, huh? What about the rotating detonation engine? Well, that's not a combustion engine force, so that's a different thing. You're comparing a diesel engine to a gasoline engine. Actually, you're comparing a steam engine to an internal combustion engine. Detonation engines are a whole different ballgame, dude. That's a whole separate thing. Detonation engines are the future. Dude, yeah, that's a really good idea. If we could figure that one out, that'd be great. Look at page 8. Please. Oh, yeah, here you go. Yeah, here, I'll show you, fellas. Take a look. Come on, while we're young. Yep, there it is. The integrated power head. There it is. Hydrostatic bearing design. It's next level stuff, dude. Yeah, that picture is intentionally crappy res for a very good reason.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yep, integrated power head demo. It's an Air Force project from the mid-2000s. The BE-4 and the Raptor engine are derived from the IPD. Yep. Heard of the 63 Chrysler turbine, only my absolute favorite automobile of all time. Jen? Yeah, of course. Yeah, the Chrysler turbine car is the best. That is my favorite car. I usually forget because... you know, it's easy to say like 67 Mustang, but the 63 turbine car it doesn't get cooler than that. What's so special about it? The powerhead demo or the turbine car, Phil? Show it? Oh, sure. The turbine car? Well, there's the turbine car. Oh, the rotating detonation engine. Yeah, just Google it. It's hard to explain. Basically, instead of combustion, it uses detonation. But in order to keep the detonator going, you have to rotate the detonation around or else it'll just dissipate. Looks like the chopstick swung a little. Yep. Yeah, that's the 63 turbine car. It's a car with a jet engine in it. Well, it's not a jet engine. It's a gas turbine. It's much more like a helicopter engine than anything. Yeah, that's my all-time favorite car because it has a freaking jet engine in it. Sherman's had a radial engine in it, Balxy, but yeah. The U.S. copied German rockets? Yeah, of course, App State. So? Of course we did. You don't want rocket technology, right? Like... Union Pacific did it better. Yeah, but look at this interior, though, man. Look at the interior. Oh, it's so cool. Look at, dude. Oh, it's aesthetic as frick. I love this car. That is the actual interior, man. This is the closest we got to Fallout. Look at that interior. It's amazing. Do any of these cars still exist? Yep. Oh, yeah. Jay Leno has one that runs. Oh, it's so damn cool. Look at this. Look at this. You don't get that. You don't get that in cars nowadays, man. Look at this thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason we're not using gas turbines for all cars is the noise. Emissions. Metroid. Emissions was the biggest thing that killed the turbine car. I bet it sounds awesome. It sounds like a vacuum cleaner, to be honest. Yeah. What the heck is that? It's the turbine car. How do you guys not know about this? That's my favorite car. Oh, I want to talk to you about the turbine car. Look at... Oh, it's so awesome. Oh, it's so damn cool. It's fly, man. It's got a gas generator engine in it, guys. It's got a one-off engine. The closest thing that it would be to is a helicopter engine.
Go at throttle up.
But they intend... Hey, Oligamp's 48 months at tier 2. Thanks, man. Weather guy, the thing's wild, dude. It has 2 spinning radiators inside of it. Yeah, spinning radiators. Geared off of the turbo shaft. So you have your jet engine, compressor, turbine, right? And then the turbine is geared to an output shaft, which goes to the transmission, right? And it has a regular automatic transmission with a fluid coupling behind it. But between the compressor and the turbine, there's gearing, and the gearing spins 2 radiators on either side, like it's a radiator. And the heat exchangers actually would probably be the best thing. They post compression preheat the intake air, right? And the cool intake air swaps its heat with the exhaust air. This simultaneously creates better combustion because jet engines like hotter, not hotter intake air. If you can preheat post combustion and it's not a big deal. Ideally, you'd want the gases to be colder, but it has 2 spinning radiators inside of it that are transverse to the main longitudinal shaft of the jet engine. And they spin and they exchange the heat. And that ended up making the exhaust no hotter than a regular car. Because think about it, you have a jet engine, the exhaust is going to be ridiculously hot, right? So they came up with rotary regenerators is what they called them. And they exchanged the heat with the intake air, like the opposite of an intercooler. Dude, the design is light years ahead of anything. Even by today's standard, it is light years ahead. Cool thing about the turbine car? Anything that's flammable. You could make it run off biodiesel. No problem. You can make it run off corn, vodka, Chanel No. 5. Anything that's flammable. Hairspray. No problem. Yeah, pour that in the tank. You pour whatever you want in there. Gasoline, diesel fuel, rocket fuel, jet fuel, anything that's combustible. So you could make it run off corn if you really want to. Bunker C, it'll run off anything that's flammable, Enco. Yeah, weather guy, yeah. Uh-huh. Chrysler was not the only one. Oh, that's cool. But that's a turbojet car, Nemetko. This is different. Can it fly? No, it can't fly. Where have I seen this before? Let me see. What's that? Cool. What's that supposed to be? Hear me out. Turbine plus electric generators, turbine EV hybrids. I've been saying that for years, Panda Man. A turbine electric hybrid would... Dude, you could drive across the country on a tank of gas. No problem. Look, as much as I love dumping on Chevy, they had the hybrid vehicle designed right. The Volt is the right way to do, the Volt was the right way to do it. You have a gasoline engine that generates power when you need it. That's a small sat launcher being developed by RST Space based out of Russia. Cool. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, weather guy, check this out. I'm telling you, man, this thing was light years ahead of its time. Chrysler was designing this in the 50s. And then it's geared. It's huge reduction right there. Oh man, this thing made torque for days. Look at that. Look at that thing. That's so damn cool. Turbine electric hybrid Mustang Mach-E. Yeah. Wouldn't that engine be noisy? Nope. Nope. Wasn't any louder than a regular car. Here. Here, listen. Let me see.
Air compressor.
Dude, all right. This is a video from Steve Leto. Somebody just mentioned this in chat. Listen to this thing. I'm telling you, man. It's like a spaceship. It's a turbo shaft, Nucletron. Yeah. It's a jet engine that's designed to turn an axle. That's what a gas turbine is.
Around 15, that's fine.
Okay.
Now you lift up on that.
Yep.
Pull it back. No, lift up more.
Oh,
yeah, there you
gotcha.
go. Into drive. That's it.
Okay. Oh, amazing.
Oh, that is so cool. I want it. I want it. I want it really badly. That's amazing. Listen to that noise. It's like you're on a spaceship.
You can feel the.
Yeah, get a little bit of gas to feel alive. Now watch your temperature go up.
Yep.
I want
Good
it.
temperature.
I want it.
Yeah.
Did you hear him step on the gas? That's so cool.
It's a nice cool day.
Bruh. How does the transmission work? It's a torque flight. I have the same transmission in my Coronet, Goalie. They used a 904 3-speed. It's a turbo shaft. All it does is turn an axle. You just couple that axle to a fluid coupling. It has a regular Chrysler transmission in it. Oh, that's so cool! I want it.
The.
Oh,
you
why
can
could
feel
we
the
not
torque
make
like
this?
shift.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
There's nothing subtle on it.
Nope. They're not supposed to. This thing is just amazing.
What's its top speed? It has the performance of about a Chrysler 318 force. That was by design. Chrysler had it perform as well as their base model V8. Yeah. It makes about, what is it, guys, like 300 horse or something? It can go fast. I wouldn't push it nowadays because they're so old, but
Video that I want to show
the
you
ones that are around are still going.
of,
Jet engine, like, the engines were super freaking reliable. People put like 1 million miles on one of these things, like, or I think it was 1 million miles cumulatively. They never break. Turbine has has one moving part. Well, this thing has like 3 or 4 because of the rotary generators. But like, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 moving parts. That's it. They're super freaking. Jet engines are super reliable.
running his turbine pickup.
How do they handle the RPM and the gearing like that? Well, jet engines are designed for extremely high RPM, so they geared it. It just gears down, so they don't blow through the converter. The jet engine spins really, really fast, and they put it through a huge reduction gear. Reductions reduce RPMs. Bingo. Makes tons of torque. It's so freaking cool, dude.
Staying away from the puddles.
130 horsepower with the 14 city highway.
Maybe my cars, so.
Yeah. 140 horse. I thought it was 300, but yeah, whatever. Probably could make one that makes 300 too.
If you want, you can drive my
You'd
Camry.
start in high gear. It's an automatic transmission.
Let anybody drive that. My wife doesn't even drive it.
Something like that, Sasquatch.
You're up.
This is actually got a viewfinder on it.
Emissions killed this thing, guys. Found it 120 miles an hour. Like I said, it's comparable to V8s of the time, but that was on purpose. Kent's arm tests are still going on as one of the arms opened up a little bit. Oh yeah, I see it.
Which way? Up. Back. I don't know if that's sound.
Do we have any... Is there any sounds of the car outside Outside the car? Oh yeah, the same engineers that engineered this car made the turbo encabulator videos, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know. Seriously, I Googled turbine car and turbo encabulator shows up. It's my favorite car of all time, dude. Not bad, but imagine 1 million of those on the road seems deafening. Kane, the noise levels are comparable to an internal combustion car. It's about the same noise of the internal combustion cars of the time. That doesn't mean that they couldn't put mufflers on this thing. The cooling for it must be a nightmare. No, not at all. The cooling for it is just fine. The exhaust gas temperature is no more than it would be coming out of an internal combustion engine car. Chrysler engineers did that on purpose. They made it that way on purpose. You have a toroidal combustion chamber right here with an igniter and a fuel spray. That's it. How complicated is it to change filters in a car? The filters? No more difficult than a regular car. It's got a big filter up at the front. I'm telling you, man, Goalie, it's genius. So they compress the air, and normally you don't want to take your intake air. You don't want to take intake air and heat it up. But heating it up post-compression is fine. So you compress the intake air, and then after compression, the air is already hot, and then it exchanges with a rotating heat exchanger. It's a rotary regenerator is what they called it, right? And that heats the fuel up to 1025, and then it goes into the combustion chamber. They blow up the hot fuel. Well, you have extremely hot oxidizer and regular temperature fuel. That blows it up even more. That turns the compressor and the turbine. And that's where your throttle control was. Your throttle control was between the compressor and the power turbine in the form of a nozzle vane. Serious. Go look it up. They had a nozzle vane. They had variable pitch. There was a variable pitch controller before the compressor and the power turbines called the nozzle vane. It is a vane that regulates the flow of air over the turbine and the compressor and the power turbine. What do the regenerators do? They take the heat from that combustion and they exchange it with the intake air post-compression. That's an important thing to understand. That basically made the car quiet, and it made it so that the gas coming out was no greater than the gas coming in temperature. Yeah, you could put your hand behind the exhaust, no problem. It would be about as hot as a regular car. Chrysler did this on purpose. They engineered a custom one-off jet engine just for this. Hi, Brimo.
Hi.
What's up?
I have a very important question, chat. This is mostly for chat because you're not going to like the question. How...
That's not happening.
But
I muted you. No, I'm not a dingus. I don't like that question.
I want to know how to get EJ on... I want to know how to get EJ on Queer Eye, chat.
We're not doing that.
I want EJ on Queer Eye. How? How do I do it? I want Anthony to show me how to cook. How do I do it?
You guys know in Fallout when you do something that somebody doesn't like, and in the top left corner it says that person didn't like that?
Yeah.
EJ did not like that.
We've talked about this before. If they ever do Queer Eye Boston, you're being nominated. Will they pick you up? Probably not, because 1 million people will do.
I don't want to do that.
You do, though. You just don't know it yet.
No, I do not want to do that.
It'll be fun. We'll have so much fun.
You'll have fun. Don't try to act all cutesy and kiss me. I don't want to do this. Why'd you hijack the stream for this?
Because I just finished the last episode and I'm really sad and I'm like every time I watch Queer Eye, I go, I really want to be on Queer Eye.
Why don't you sign up for it?
Because I can't sign myself up.
What if I sign you up for it?
You could try, but then they're gonna find this video and they're gonna be like, what have I done that is worthy of being on Queer Eye is the question. And the answer is nothing. What has EJ done to be worthy of being on Queer Eye? He teaches you nerds rocket science every single day.
I don't want this.
Just saying.
I don't want this at all. Can we go back to talking about turbines, please? Yeah, Golden Goose, I don't need to. That's right.
I love you. I love you lots.
You talk to a way bigger audience about White Claw, that would be worth it.
I love you. Imagine if Tan came and picked hats out for you. Or Anthony cooked us a nice dinner. Or Karamo was Karamo with you. Like, be cool, man. This isn't about fixing you. This is about giving you an experience of self-care and love because you work really hard and you deserve it.
I don't want that.
Why?
Because I don't want anything in return for my hard work.
What if I want you to have it?
Oh, I didn't realize that you wanting me to have something is something that I want in return for my hard work. You're not part of this equation. You're not part of this equation, Mr. Cowboy.
I feel like I've actually upset you, and it was just meant to be fun.
I don't want to have fun!
No fun!
Ever. I just want a jet car. Can you get me a jet car, please?
I took you to see a jet car on our first date!
You did, and now I want it. Can we have a jet car, please? Look at it. Look at it. The regenerators and nozzle vanes.
If you find somewhere for your current cars, or if you sell one of your current cars, you can have a jet car.
That's a lie, and you know it. Now you're lying to me. You signed me.
No,
you want to sign me up for something without
you
my consent, and now you lie to me.
No. I said you have to sell one of your current cars, or find a place for your current cars. What part of, and then you can buy a jet car. How much is the jet car?
They're impossible to achieve. There's only like 10 of them in the world, and all of them are in museums.
When you go on Queer Eye, you can have a jet car.
Good, because I'm never obtaining a jet car. There's only 10 of them. One of them's in the Henry Ford. You can't get. There's no private ownership of jet cars unless Jay Leno wants to sell him. So good. That wants to sell us his, which I don't think he does. So we're good.
Are there goldfish left? Did you eat them all? Where does one acquire a goldfish?
Now you want to eat my goldfish too?
I just want like 1 or 10.
You don't. Yeah. See, one does not simply eat one goldfish.
Why won't you let Anthony cook for us?
Because I can cook for us just fine.
But Anthony is wonderful. Imagine Jonathan getting to do your hair. Imagine how much fun you would have. You would have so much fun.
What makes you think I would have fun from this? Is anything that I do in my daily routine that I think is fun coincide with that at all? What makes you think I want to do my hair?
Nobody who's on Queer Eye wants to do their hair either.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Oh, somebody's congratulating us on the engagement. Thank you. He did a good job.
Thanks, Dr. Williams. I'm going to put this on to keep you guys entertained. Mechazilla, his arms wide. Still here?
What if they came in here and redid your whole streaming setup?
Now you mentioned technical stuff too. Is there anything else you're going to do to piss me off?
Good God. Grump J, God! Got him!
Drummer, let's just delete that whole segment, okay? Cool. I have no clue what happened when I just returned. Oh no! Anyway. Inflate a plane? No. Storm, we'll just design our own. We'll just design our own. That's fine. Yep, Forlorn, can't dye your hair if you don't have any. Yeah, guys, check it out. Look. Oh, yeah, baby. Is that a Lockheed Martin shirt? Nope. It's just a Lockheed shirt. No, Entropy. I don't need to be on a fashion show. I don't want this at all. That's freaking rad. Oh, thanks, Everest. Is SpaceX going to stress test the arms like actually holding SN20? I'm not sure, man. Anyway, totally lost my train of thought here. Oh yeah, we're talking about regenerators. Yeah. You guys want to learn more about it, Jay Leno has a really awesome video. Will Mechazilla be able to sustain the impact of the first booster catch? Since Elon said he doesn't expect it to go right. Sile, I wouldn't expect that they would have designed these things to not be able to hold up a starship. If it was me, I probably would have designed this thing with the margins to be able to pick up like a starship fully fueled or something. That way you know that, you know, if something does crash into it, they won't break. You know what I mean? With that being said, if the thing's designed to lift it up, I don't see why it wouldn't be able to catch it either. The problem is your load. Your load gets... When it picks it up, they can do it slowly. Catching it is a whole different force because you're inducing shock load in the form of a compression load on the arm. This way. the delta F, I guess, goes up insanely fast, basically catching the booster, right? So if it was me, I would take whatever predicted load of that is and times that by pi and rate the arms for that instead. So I'm not necessarily sure that this thing is going to break. I'm pretty sure, like with the exception of the rocket engines burning this thing out, like burning this thing up outright, I don't think they're going to miss the catch. What's most likely going to happen is that they're going to try to catch it and grab one side and then the thing's going to fall. I don't think it'll damage these things too much. Because think about it. These arms during a catch are nowhere near the rocket engines. They're wide. And then they go in, right? I don't think the arms are going to get damaged from catching it. I think the booster's just going to miss, and they're not going to be able to get the timing right, and the booster will just go and hit the ground and blow up Starship style, which is fine. Whatever. As long as it doesn't hit this, we're okay. Go to live. Why? The loss of landing gear weight does seem to outweigh the benefits of trying to catch a tall building. Well, SpaceX doesn't think so. Pop, you got to remember, it's not just about simplifying the design. It's about being able to reintegrate faster. Landing legs are obviously the easier solution. That's why they did them with Falcon 9. SpaceX is trying to change the game here. They're trying to make it so they don't need... It's not just about not having landing legs on the booster. It's about landing the booster and being able to put it immediately right back on the pad. Landing legs are not warranted for that design if you're catching the booster. You don't need them. So you get a mass reduction, but the mass reduction isn't the one benefit of doing something like that. That's not the total part of the equation. Part of the equation is less steps for the booster to be on the ground. It's easier for the booster to get back onto the pad. One, because they caught it directly over the pad. And two, you don't need to fold up any landing legs. Even if they landed the booster right next to the pad with landing legs, right? They would still have to, get the arms in position, get an SBMT under it, move it, make sure the arms are in the right position, pick it up, and then put it on the pad after folding the legs up. That's more options. The way SpaceX wants it and the way Elon wants it is literally just land the thing, put it back on the pad, land Starship, catch it, put it back on, new payload in, send it again. It's about simplifying ground operations for the rocket. I don't think they're doing a static fire. I would still put legs on it for emergency use. I wouldn't, Jamie. I wouldn't. That's a waste of mass. You're wasting mass. It's needless complexity for what they're trying to do. You got to understand that. You're pretty good at CASP. When are you catching a rocket? How? What? Catching one? Oh. I don't know, man. That'd be hard to do. I'd like to try it. Well, Galactic, you got to understand that the arms... So, if this is where the orbital launch mount... Now, we're looking down at the pad. So, like, say we had a camera that was looking this way, all right? So, the orbital launch mount is here, and the tower is right here. The arms work like this. They can hinge this way, they can hinge this way, or they can do this. If you look, the tower is on one... Both of the arms are on one hinge, meaning that they can go this way. They're going to do catching operations away from the pad. They're going to catch over here. And then once they caught it, they move it to the left, and then they put it back on the pad. And then they can integrate on the right. Understand? Oh, Thomas has the perfect view of that. How do you get this stuff so quickly? See, this picture from RGV really demonstrates it. See what I'm talking about? This is in the integration. This is in the integration position. Then there's the stacking position, which is straight. And then there's the catch position, which is over here. They're going to catch on this side. So if the booster misses, it's just going to crash over here. That's it. See what I'm talking about? I agree, Jim. They're going to need to move quick. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. They're going to need to move quick, dude. They're going to need to be very fast. Don't get me wrong. This is... If you're looking at this, guys, you're looking at this whole thing and you're saying, wow, that's... I'm really skeptical of this. I don't blame you. Nothing like this has ever been tried. No one's ever tried to do something like this. This is... I know in this day and age, it's tough. It's hard to wrap your mind around an idea that potentially didn't exist before because the mentality that we were all taught is that if you're going to try something new, it's not worth the money to do it. You know what I mean? SpaceX is bucking that trend. There was a time where new ideas flourished all the freaking time because it was profitable to do these ideas in the long run because you'd have a step up over everybody else. This is what the technology that gave us the 707, the DC-8, the Convair 880. 747, A380 eventually. Sometimes you got to try something new. This is not something that we're used to because everybody says, oh, you could try to do it like that, but you know, you'd waste a lot of money doing the testing. It's not worth the time. Yeah, because it doesn't make you money in the short term. But then again, Elon Musk isn't driven by that. He's trying to colonize Mars. I could probably do it, Fat Man. It'd be tough. I think the term catching is wrong. I mean, that's just what Elon Musk has said. He said it's like catching. He's called it catching the booster. I'm just using his nomenclature. Now, whether you disagree with that, I don't know. That's really another thing. I think they should send a Starship out to refuel James Webb towards the end of its life. Oh. I mean, yeah, maybe. Complicated mission, force, but yeah, it's possible. Look. Near side arm. Holy shnikes. Bro. They are, Senshai. They're gonna have to move quick. I don't know, Cole. We have to wait and see. I'm not going to pretend like I have all the answers, because I don't think Elon Musk even has all the answers. You guys, I'm starting to think that this stuff might get so out delayed that they actually might try to catch number 4. I'm starting to think that. The timelines kind of make sense for it, to be honest with you. The timelines make sense for catching the booster. Because you think about it, they're good. When they said they were going to expend 4, right? When they said they were going to expend it, they were like, that's when they were in a position to be able to have like booster number 5 and ship 21 like right after it. But since they've changed Starship's design so much, I mean, dude, they might do a catch attempt with 4, not just to get the booster back, but to get some practice. I mean, you might as well. I mean, I can't prove that. That's just me kind of thinking. Is that all scaffolding on the inside of the tower? Yeah, some of it is. Most of it is. A lot of it is pipes, though. Did we get through the rest of that NSF, the other NSF video? No, we only got through half of it, so. I'm going to go back over to this, and we'll kind of go from there. Yeah, that would be a lot of risk to damage the ground infrastructure, so where else are we going to test catching our orbital rocket booster? It's a bridge that you have to cross eventually. You might as well cross it sooner rather than later. Like I said, that's what happens when you change the game. You want to change the game like this, you're gonna have to figure out a way to do it eventually, and eventually you're gonna have to bite that bullet of freaking trying to catch that stupid thing. I'm saying they should probably test relight and hovering in the ocean first, right? Maybe. I mean, the descent profile for a Falcon 9, and Super Heavy's going to follow it at any single point, is pretty dang good. You'll be able to test relight all the way down. It only gets over the pad at the very last second. Any other time when it fails, you know, it'll just land in the grass or land in the ocean. Yeah, I know. They're very excited either way. Yeah.
Discovery.
Like,
go
I'm
throttle
just
up.
once again, it's just a theory of mine. Like I'm kind of thinking that they're going to get to the point where the catcher arms will be ready. That was their whole cited point of not using the booster before, right? Not catching the booster before. Oh, the catcher arms won't be ready by then. But there's been delays from the FAA, and SpaceX's pad is nowhere near finished. So, dude, they might
Discovery. Go
down the
throttle
road.
up.
I wouldn't be surprised if Elon said, "Yeah, we're going to catch it." Or at least we're going to try. I mean, he might change his mind. He's done stuff like that in the past. Ship 24, common bulkhead with no header tank. Interesting. I mean, those two header tanks up at the nose are going to take up a lot of space. Yeah, it's very flimsy, Peg. Starship only gets really strong when they put the whole thing together. Actually, how damaged do you think Starship would get if it safely landed in salt water? Phil, you're asking, like, if it made it all the way down through re-entry and whatnot? It should be like Falcon 9, theoretically. I'm pretty sure that thing falling over would damage something somewhere. But if aluminum can survive a fall over that Starship probably would too. It'd probably blow off a couple of tiles, though. Here are some stairs. But yeah, like I said, that space will be unavailable for payload anyway due to the flaps. Yeah. Huh. Are thermal protection system tiles curved or flat, like the common ones? Probably have some concaveness to them, Sanchai. Maybe just a little bit to fit the shape. There's the nose cone of Ship 21. It is likely that the next launch is going to be Booster 7 with Ship 24. It is likely? I'm pretty sure Elon said the opposite of that, Tomas, but maybe. Maybe the next launch after that? Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Booster 5 being towed out to pasture was a pretty damn good example. A pretty dang good, like, indicator that might be what's going on, yeah. Oh, you forgot to add a question mark. Oh, well, that changes that a little bit now, doesn't it? That's the wide bay. What is that? Elevator? Do you think the wide bay will have more than one crane? Yeah, I do. Looks like it looks like a little temporary elevator. Donuts. Yep. Interesting. And this is being towed by a Ferd. Being towed by the Ferd. Ferd. And then a dirt mover truck right there. Ferd, more like turd. Yeah, serious. Must suck hating on things instead of loving things. Sounds like a miserable existence, to be honest. Hey, Moguni. Yeah, it's been a while. Would you mind giving me a quick snippet of what we're taking a peek at? Just looking at pictures of Starbase from NASA spaceflight here. That's the launch pad. Little Moguni, it probably looks a little bit different than the last time you saw it. I'm pretty sure, Moguni, the last time you were watching, the orbital launch pad was 6 pillars. They have the plate on it and everything, and it's being assembled there. It's got a lot of pipes on it. Looks like they're playing Stationeers up in there. I don't hate Ford, Clover. The exact opposite. I'm talking about him hating on Fords, not me. Oh, you got gifted a sub from Drummer. Thanks, Drummer. You got scaffolding there. Damn, dude. It's ridiculous how complicated this thing actually is. Catcher, did they do anything for the road closure today? No, but they're moving the arms around. Positioning the crane over 4 again as of yesterday. Interesting. Cool. All right, let's go over here. Check this out, guys. So this is live. This is the live footage. We'll probably see this on the footage tomorrow. Look, look, look. They're starting to move Mechazilla around. Mechazilla, his arms wide. Bro. That's so cool. Oh, they moved it back. Kuro, good news. A dev played serious as the Soviet Union and agrees almost all focus is redone and no step back is too late to help the Soviet Union. I see a rebalance as soon as they can resolve it. Yeah. It is, O-Force. Let's see if they move him again. Sorry if I'm a bit in and out. You're playing League. I'm sorry. Thanks for the sub, man. No problem, Moguni. Wow. League. Wait, people still play League? Am I out of touch? No, it's you guys. Yeah, but the Soviets are easily the most powerful late-game country now. If you can hold, you can defeat the Germans in 44, 45 easily. Yeah, Balaxy, I think in our save, it might have been enough. Guys, I'm just kidding. I know League is huge. Just, yeah. Oh, something moving. Okay, something's peeking. Nope. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for Space News. Let's wind down with some really awesome cities now, I think. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a fun Space News, except for the part where Brimo was here. Hi, Brimo. Yeah, that's right. Your part sucked. All right. I'm going to flip us over to cities. We're going to play cities for the rest of the night. So, I hope you guys enjoyed Space News. And, yeah. What should we work on? I'd say we should keep going with Fairlane. But I could play another project today. We'll find out.